Welcome to Unitarian Coastal Fellowship. Good morning. Morning. This is a place where many paths meet, where we honor the rich tapestry of spiritual traditions, and where all are welcome to explore their own connection to the sacred. I am Reverend Leslie Runnels, and I use she, her pronouns, joined with Philip Strickland as worship associate. We have accompanist Megan Smith, and today our song leader is Maria Lundgren, and we have Susan and Dan making all the technical magic happen for those of you who are joining us on Zoom today. If you are visiting us for the first or second time today, would you raise your hands that we may welcome you? Oh, my goodness, okay. I didn't get the mic. We're going to, if you would be so inclined as to introduce yourselves, we'll bring the microphone around. If you do not want to introduce yourself, you just say no. We are a full consent group. So, one more time, raise your hands if you're visiting for the first or second time.
Hello, I'm Leanna Isles, or Geppert.
Welcome.
Oh, this is good.
Hi, I'm Catherine Bates, and my husband, Nick Bates. I guess he could introduce himself.
Welcome, both of you.
We got you. We got you.
Hello, I'm Michelle Crapo. Nice to meet you all.
Welcome back.
Good morning, I'm Greg Holland. I'm here with my wife, Susan.
Welcome to both of you. Anybody else?
Oh,
Good morning, my name is Princess Carr.
Princess Carr, welcome. All right, beautiful. And now if you would bring it to Dan, he's going to tell us who's joining us on Zoom.
On Zoom today, we have Bogey and Avery, Eric Jimenez, Kay and Daryl Lynch, Barb Thomas, Sarah Sutherland, and Gary Willis.
Beautiful. Hi, everybody on Zoom. Beautiful. Thank you all. We have some announcements today. We are holding our blood drive in the social hall on Monday, March 31st. That's when the Red Cross will be with us. This whole social hall changes into a, can we say a beautiful blood drive center maybe? And we need more donors to reach our goal of 21 donations, or our stretch goal of 30 donations, which would earn our church $300 to spend on anything we want. There's a link in the wave or on our website. There's some small flyers in the foyer to sign up. You can pick a time that works for you. It'll be all day long. We also have a sign-up sheet in the social hall by the coffee window. If you would like to host a hike or a picnic or a trip to Bonehenge or Shackelford or whatever this spring, please sign up on that you want to offer that, and then we'll get you connected to how to advertise it and get everybody together. But I really want to go to Bonehenge, so somebody needs to take me to Bonehenge. We also will have service events like a beach cleanup or working in a shelter or something like that. We also need people or one person to say, I'm going to organize that. So maybe we want to go help at Owls, right? The place that, is that where we're gathering money for this month, I think, is for Owls. They're a wildlife shelter where they bring in injured animals and hopefully nurse them back to life, bring them back into their regular community as they can, or keep them in place. Last thing is a goods and services auction committee meeting. If you're interested in helping with the church auction, which is going to be May 9th, so it's a couple of months, a little less than 2 months away, there's a planning meeting on Thursday, March 27th. That's this Thursday at 10 a.m. It'll be in the Sally White Conference Center. And for those of you who have not experienced a UCF auction, we consider it the most fun you can have in church. Now, I take a little umbrage at that because I think this is pretty fun, but I won't be able to be here for the auction because I'll be on my study leave, and the planners were like, oh, you're going to miss it. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. Was there something you wanted me to do? And it's like, well, no, it's just the most fun we have all year long, and you're going to miss it. So, sounds like fun. All right, I think that's, actually, do you want to do your announcement?
Hi, everyone. So I don't know if any of you have had the pleasure of checking out our library yet, but we have been renovating it and revamping it, and I wanted to donate a bookshelf of mine, and if any of you have a way to help out or can help out this week to help me haul that heavy bookshelf over to the library so we can fill it up, I would greatly appreciate it. I'll be in the coffee hour until around 12:30, so just pull me aside, have a word with me, and we'll set up a time. So, thanks.
Yeah, the library is looking amazing, and that's a bookshelf that Philip's grandfather made by hand, right? And it's really beautiful. So we need a truck and some people who can lift heavy wood. Okay, and now we are going to center ourselves in sacred space. And we're going to let some music guide the way.
This will be Chant for the Seasons, number 73 in the hymnal if you want to follow along. Winter time has turned the star wheel, springtime is upon us. Winter rains have turned the star wheel, springtime is upon us. Sharp the smell of love bursting in our eyes, the tulips of the tulip. Winter rains have turned the star wheel, springtime is upon us. Greening is the grass, soft upon our brows, the sunlight warm caresses. Winter rains have turned the star wheel, springtime is upon us.
Our opening words come from Pat Uribe Lichty. We come together with our tired minds and bodies, with our confusion and questions, our uncertainties and our fears. We come together with our hopes, with our pasts and our ideas, our passions and our faith. We come together bringing all of who we are, trusting that in gathering we will be renewed, and that together we can create the world we long for. And now let us speak these words as one. Come, Let us worship together. Okay, would a youth like to come up and Thank you, Bella. We gather today to hear the call of trust. Though our hearts have been bruised by broken promises and dreams deferred, may we listen again for that longing to repair and to be repaired, that hunger to start anew. Like this flame, trust is something that needs rekindling again and again. May today spark the fire of a new match. We also light our peace candle to remind ourselves that peace is a process that requires work, that peace is not merely an absence of conflict, but the presence of justice. And now, please rise in body or in spirit for hymn number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Each week, we make space and time to be human and celebrate our joys and grieve our sorrows together. Should you wish to share a personal joy or sorrow about a person or persons in your life, there's a paper to fill out in the corner over here to place it in the basket on the way to the chalice. After the ritual, I will read your joys and concerns aloud to the congregation. You may now line up along this row and along that edge there, and you come and you pick a stone or a rock. There's bells and shells, whatever calls to you. Put whatever you need into that and then place it into the water to be held by community. Can I just ask that we stay in silence for this part of the ritual? It's a sacred moment. Thank you. Philip, I'd like to ask you we're going to place 3 stones, if you would, for us. 1 stone for those who have lost jobs or are being harassed by the new administration or who are worried about losing their jobs. May you find peace while we fight for a return to peace. A stone for T. King, a member of this congregation who is really struggling right now, and ask that we place a stone for her. May she feel our love. Bogey Cashwell, one of our newest members, is at the VA hospital in Durham, struggling with fluid around his heart again. His care team is doing what they can, and Avery is with him. We send them both love and healing, that you know peace. And here are the joys and concerns you wish to share with this community centered in love. Yesterday, March 22nd, was Pat White's 100th birthday. May she rest in peace. Early this week, our neighbor's 16-year-old son, Josh Blackledge, took his life. Please pray for this family and for Carol. Stormy is sad because someone stole her special magnets off her door. She had them a long time and misses them. And I know they were a lot of queer-friendly and queer-affirming and justice and peace-centered magnets that somebody in the community did not want displayed on her door anymore. So if you have magnets, we would love to flood Stormy with a bunch of magnets so that she can put love back on her door. John Probst says that his wife Janine says she misses Unitarian Coastal Fellowship and all of us here. May we send her love. This community witnesses your joys and your concerns, even those ones not spoken aloud or the ones that are slowly forming in your heart. They are held in community now in sacred water. May you know love. May you know peace. May you be safe. And may you love. Now I invite Jason up, who's going to talk to us about Ostara.
Hello. So good morning, everyone. My name is Jason, and my pronouns are he, they. Today we are celebrating the spring equinox, when the light and dark are balanced, and the earth wakes up from winter's rest. Many people create an Ostara altar to honor this time of growth, and today we have 5 special things here that remind us of trust. Let's start with this feather. The feather represents air, the east, and new beginnings. Have you ever felt the wind on your face or watched birds fly high in the sky? The wind carries seeds far away, and they don't even know where they're going to land, right? So trust is like that. We don't always know where life will take us, but we can believe that new opportunities are on the way. And would you mind lighting the fire for me? Next we have this candle. The candle represents fire or south and warmth. The sun is returning, and the days are getting longer. Fire gives us heat, light, and energy. When we are scared or uncertain, we can trust that even the darkest night will end and warmth will return. Now let's look at this bowl of water. Water represents the West, emotions, and adaptability. Water can be still, like a calm lake, or rushing like a mighty river. It teaches us that sometimes we have to go with the flow. Trusting others means knowing that even when life changes, we can move through it, just like water moves over rocks, around obstacles. And here we have soil. Soil represents the north, stability, and home. It is what holds everything together. Without soil, plants wouldn't have a place to grow. They wouldn't have a home. Trust is like soil because it helps us feel safe. We trust our family, we trust our friends, and community to hold us up when we need support. And at the center of it all, we have a seed. A seed is small, but inside it holds the promise of something amazing. If I put this seed on the table, will it grow? Oops, sorry, I mean to not. No, I mean, right. So the seed needs all the other elements to grow. Air to breathe, fire or sunlight to give it warmth, water to help it grow, and soil to hold and nourish it. And like the seed, trust needs all those things too. We trust in new beginnings like the wind, in warmth and kindness like fire, and in change like water, and in the people who hold us like earth. So as we welcome in spring, let us remember to trust in growth, trust in change, and trust in the goodness of the world around us. Can anyone think of, or just, you can blurt out if you want, can anyone think of something you're waiting or hoping for? Yes, peace, justice, yes, same. Love, truth, friendship, summer, right? Yes. Amazing. Pardon? No hurricanes, yes. Yes, please, no hurricanes. It's like North Carolina, we're just sticking out there. You know.
Good health.
Good health. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that one. Affordable eggs, yes. Please, can we get some affordable eggs? Yes. Stronger chickens. Passion. Yes. Sleep peace? Deep peace, yes. Deep peace for the world, right? Yes. And, well, just like the seed, you can trust that good things are growing, just like everyone's wishes, even if you can't see it. That's what trust is about. So that concludes our time for all ages. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, and I loved the shirt that you're wearing that is very apropos. Mark, you're going to be very disappointed right now. Sorry. Usually at this time, we send our children to religious education classes, but we had 2 teachers not able to come in this morning. So the young people get to stay with us all the time. So what I did was I put out some books, and actually there's a book over here, Aiden, that you might look like on youth, indigenous youth people here. And there's also like a coloring activity and stuff like that. So if you need something, whatever age you are, we have stuff here to play with, okay? Do you want to come up and get something? Y'all good? Our oldest kid. Oh, not our oldest kid. You got competition. Yeah, come get what you want. Beautiful. Sarah and I picked out those books to kind of match with what we're doing today. So we're now going to settle in to a moment of silence and meditation. I'm going to lead you through 3 deep breaths together, and then we're going to have 90 seconds of silence before the music begins. 90 seconds sounds like a really short time, but it can actually feel really long if you let it. Okay? So close your eyes if that's helpful for you, and we'll take 3 deep breaths together. Robin Wall Kimmerer's new book, The Service Berry, Abundance and Reciprocity in the Natural World. My son-in-law, Dave, teaches high school economics, and the first principle his students learn is that economics is about decision-making in the face of scarcity. Anything and everything in a market is implicitly defined as scarce. With scarcity as the main principle, the mindset that follows is based on commodification of goods and services. This problem of deciding what to do with abundance reminds me of a report shared by Lewis Hyde in his essential book, The Gift, that linguist Daniel Everett wrote as he was learning from a hunter-gatherer community in the Brazilian rainforest. He observes that a hunter had brought home a sizable kill, far too much to be eaten by his family. The researcher asked how he would store the excess. Smoking and drying technologies were well known. Storing was possible. The hunter was puzzled by the question, store the meat? Why would he do that? Instead, he sent out an invitation to a feast, and soon the neighboring families were gathered around his fire until every last morsel was consumed. This seemed like maladaptive behavior to the anthropologist, who asked again, given the uncertainty of meat in the forest, why didn't the hunter store the meat for himself, which is what the economic system of his own home culture would predict? Store my meat? I store my meat in the belly of my brother, replied the hunter. She continues, I felt great debt to this unnamed teacher for these words. There beats the heart of gift economies, an antecedent alternative to market economies, another way of organizing ourselves to sustain life. In a gift economy, wealth is understood as having enough to share, and the practice for dealing with abundance is to give it away. In fact, status is determined not by how much one accumulates, but by how much one gives away. The currency in a gift economy is relationship. The currency in a gift economy is relationship, which is expressed as gratitude and interdependence and the ongoing cycles of reciprocity. A gift economy nurtures the community bonds that enhance mutual well-being. The economic unit is we, rather than I, as all flourishing is mutual. Reverend Karen Anderson and her husband Scott have friends Matthew and Petra, who are organic farmers. They have owned, managed, and ran a successful organic heirloom regional seed company in the Rochester, New York area. By all accounts, they have been the darlings of the small seed world. Profitable, good to their employees, skillful with social media, generous with recipes, and classes for gardeners on when and how to sow, maintain, and propagate, and finally harvest the myriad of vegetables and fruit they grow, and the seeds, like these seeds we just planted, that they can offer. About a year ago, Matthew and Petra asked Scott if he would be their spiritual director as they were thinking of bailing on the market economy. They were contemplating selling the company and becoming part of the gift economy. They needed someone to guide them through their discernment process, and Scott was honored to companion them on that journey. Now, at first, Karen didn't understand this concept of gift economy that well, because the gift economy is not to be confused with the barter economy, which is basically an exchange of one product or service for another product or service. You might remember when I talked about the fish guts and oranges between the water farmers and the dirt farmers, that they had that little mutual thing going on. That was like a little barter that was happening. This is something different. What their friends wanted was to be part of a gift economy. Karen writes, as the year went on, I wasn't privy to their conversations, but I got to be in conversation with my husband and I asked many questions. For instance, I'm confused. They are thinking of bailing on this water that we swim in, the market economy, and instead rely on gifts? Yes, he said, gifts given and gifts received. When they have a need, they share it with their extended community. But aren't people going to feel like they are being used, that they are being taken advantage of when Petra and Matthew throw out a need or ask for something, like if their tractor breaks down and they need to use the neighbors to get in the crop, for instance? Well, he said, I'm just learning about this too, and we should read up on this some more, but it's been explained like this. The gift economy is not as foreign as it seems. In fact, most of us participate in it already. We just call it family. If your children need something, you let them borrow it or you give it to them. There is no transactional exchange. And we don't resent our children for asking for generosity, our gifts, because we are family and it's what we do. All Matthew and Petra are trying to do is take that circle of family that is like this and expand it a ring or two. And they are farmers. They're going to keep some of their land and they're going to continue to farm. They'll keep enough for themselves and then give away the rest in produce and seeds rather than sell it. So they're going to give it away as a gift, not in exchange for anything else. Scott says, I didn't know this, but I guess gift economies preceded the market economy, mostly by indigenous communities. Robert Wall Kimmerer writes, pure, beautiful water is a gift from the skies. It was previously unthinkable that one would pay for a drink of water. But as careless economic expansion pollutes fresh water, we now incentivize privatization of springs and aquifers. Sweet water, a free gift of the earth, is pirated by faceless corporations who encase it in plastic shells to sell. And now many can't afford what was previously free, and we incentivize wrecking public waters to create demand for the privatized. In contrast, in indigenous societies all over the world, where remnants of gift economies endure, water is sacred, and people have a moral responsibility to care for it, to keep it flowing as the lifeblood of Mother Earth. It is a gift to be shared by all, and the notion of owning water is an ecological and ethical travesty. That's the end of her quote. After over a year of meeting with and learning from others who have left the market economy, Matthew and Petra then started processing how to let their business go, how to best tell their employees and their customers and their friends and their family and the academic research group they worked with what they wanted to do. They decided to have a 2.5-hour ritual out in the Bristol Hills of New York on their farm. There were at least 100 people there. It was a ritual of grief and goodbye to their company, a ritual of explaining why they were doing what they were doing, and a time for those attending to commit to being Matthew and Petra's community, or as you might put it, their interdependent web. It was a beautiful ritual of new beginnings. And here's what Karen says about what she was surprised by. I went to this ritual thinking they were going to lead with a deep sense of judging capitalism, kind of taking it apart like a Marxist critique to it, or that they might name a desire to be better and less tainted than other human beings, extricating themselves from the competitive and cutthroat nature of running a business. Running a business is hard. Or even just not wanting to be part of an exploitative system, as it can compromise your ethics for the bottom line. And how often does that happen? But here's the thing, she said, that's not what they talked about. There wasn't even a hint of judgment or striving for purity. Instead, they talked about their brokenheartedness. Their brokenheartedness. You see, Matthew and Petra weren't passionate about an organic seed business. They got into the seed business because they both had a relationship with the natural world and seeds, and in which that natural world and the seeds were alive to them. And yet, as they wanted to share those beings, those little seeds, with the world, and the gifts of the seeds with the world, they slowly realized that the market mentality not just turned seeds into a commodity, but it silenced the seeds as well. Karen and Scott had many conversations about how Matthew and Petra's new life journey is shining a revealing light on how the two of them are traveling through the world. And they're still in the process about it, but it's clearly impacted them in a number of ways. Here's what they share. It's invited them into deeper awareness. Petra and Matthew are making them aware and come to terms with the ways we unknowingly self-identify as consumers first. Kemmerer gets at this beautifully. She points out that human beings once centrally identified ourselves and understood ourselves as an ecosystem of citizens, not consumers, citizens. Or to put it another way, we have all, without really noticing or acknowledging it, have drifted from being citizens building interdependence to consumers pursuing self-sufficiency and security. Kemmerer gets at that in her book on service berries. Service berries are a type of fruit that isn't really commercially marketed, yet has many purposes both for people and for animals alike. Kemmerer writes, I think that the service berries show us another model, one based on reciprocity rather than accumulation, where wealth and security come from the quality of your relationships, not from the illusion of self-sufficiency. Without gift relationships with bees and birds, like the bees are going to pollinate the plant, the birds are then going to eat it, digest it, and redistribute the seeds through their waste. Without that, service berries would disappear from the planet. Even if they hoarded their abundance, perched atop some wealth ladder, they would not save themselves from the fate of extinction if their partners, the birds and the bees, did not share in that abundance. Hoarding won't save us either. All flourishing is mutual. It's been striking for Scott and Karen to notice how their brains keep words and ideas like this at a distance. They shared, it's hard to describe, but there is a way in which we keep this talk of hoarding in the realm of ideas rather than in the realm of emotions. It's as if all of our psychological faculties marshal themselves to ensure we stay thinking about how modern American human beings hoard, rather than allowing ourselves to feel the truth that we as two individuals have allowed ourselves to become hoarders. And we've allowed ourselves to not feel icky about that by buying into our culture's primary frame and concept of self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency is a very comfortable word, isn't it? Like, what could be wrong with that? Self-sufficient. But when you compare it to Kemmerer's chosen word that she uses for the same thing, she calls it hoarding. Karen continues, and here's maybe what I'm wrestling with the most. By seeing myself as simply pursuing self-efficiency rather than problematically embracing hoarding, I'm also cutting myself off from the awareness of the personal cost of market economies. And here's where Scott and her heavy conversation about awareness took on a still serious but lighter tone. As we were talking about it, my husband Scott blurted out this line that had me rolling with laughter. He said, "You know what? Self-sufficiency is just a fancy word for the lipstick on a pig called loneliness." Self-sufficiency is just a fancy word for the lipstick on a pig called loneliness. Self-sufficiency, in the end, leads to loneliness, isolation, and separation. And that right there, friends, well, just like Matthew and Petra, how could that not break our hearts? Jewish theologian Martin Buber claims that we have two ways of engaging others in the world. Buber contends that in our modern day society, our relationships with others are most often based on what he calls the I-it mentality. This is a mentality that turns those we relate to into its. Instead of relating to you as a person, you become an object, an it, in numerous unrecognized but important ways. Buber believes we are basically being tricked into bringing an exploitative frame to our relationships. This I-it mode means we often use our relationships with others. We are, of course, relating to the one in front of us, this person, but we relate to them more as a tool than as a person. We don't engage people by paying attention to their own needs and their own story, but instead focus on their utility to us, which is based entirely on our needs. But Buber says there is another way. If we can awaken and become conscious of the cultural trick played on us, we can meet one another as a thou, not an it. Now, I get that thou might have some religious meaning to you from other practices you've been with. This is just more than it. This is thou. We can instead counter our modern society's view of relationships with a spiritual and sacred view of relationships instead, and move from the I-it mentality to an I-thou mentality, which is very much a spiritual practice that we use when we engage in deep listening. The thoughtful gatherings that we're getting ready to have, small group ministry that is getting ready to start, is all about deep listening. We will become aware of and center other people's needs, not ours, of connecting in this place where we aren't transactional with the other person. It's not my story for your story. It's not a transaction. It's a your story, and I hear you. We aren't trying to get something out of them or from them, but are trying to have an experience with them. It is, as Buber says, in that I-thou exchange, it is there that the holy shows up. Buber is clear about his brokenheartedness around this, and it doesn't just infect our human relationships, he says, it infects our relationships with the entire world. Our how can I use things to get ahead consumerist mind steps in early and starting at a young age. In this status-obsessed world, trying to fit in culture, we get caught up in this so early. We might go to lunch with our favorite generic thermos or lunchbox in elementary school, and it's not just our favorite, but the one that kind of felt like our buddy. Was alive in a way. We talked to it as we poured our juice out of the mug or as we pulled our PBJ out of the box. But then one day when you showed up with your favorite little thermos or lunchbox, a bunch of other kids showed up with some newly highly merchandised Spider-Man thermoses and Miss Mermaid, the Little Mermaid lunchboxes. And all of a sudden you felt evaluated and judged as the dork who was left out because you don't have the current status marker. And that hurt. But clearly it was a game that everyone was playing. So slowly but surely, you begin to think about and relate to your lunchbox items, actually all of your items, your blankie, your bike, your favorite stuffed animal, not as friends who you talk to and who talk to you, but instead as things that were to be used in service of the pervasive and ever-present status-seeking game. And in no time at all, the speaking from those items stopped. The speaking from the seeds has stopped. And in that, and what was alive in your life was alive no more. They went from being thous to becoming its. As children, we are mystics. Because as a child, we are open to the world speaking to us, and we feel, actually know, that someone is also listening to what we have to say. And in the midst of that magical dance of listening and speaking, we have the feeling of love, the feeling of being loved by and loving those remarkable thous that are everywhere we look. This brings us back full circle to Petra and Matthew and their broken hearts, and their desire to disengage from the market economy and move into a space and world of the gift economy, which of course wasn't just a move motivated by the desire to no longer exploit and use people and the seeds, but a deep and primary desire to enable the seeds to speak once again to them, for the seeds to be again, for the seeds to be thou again. There is a brokenheartedness in the I-it model, and holiness and wholeness in the I-thou way. From this place of brokenheartedness, I'd like us to take a little time to reflect on where we each are. Can we still listen to the seeds, or have they been silenced? Have we silenced them completely? I'm going to offer up a few questions, and then I'm going to give you some time for reflection. Maybe the question you want to answer is, how might you disengage? What small but important steps might you take to be more aware of how our market-driven, status-seeking culture is tricking you in a million tiny ways each day? How might you wipe off the sneaky lipstick called self-sufficiency and instead see how hoarding is making you feel more alone than you need to be? How might this living and speaking mystical world call you back home? How might you join with others to shake off the sleep of I-it relationality so you can return to the world of I-thou? I now give you space to sit with these questions. May these questions continue to speak to you, to your I-thou relationships. May they become even more clear and vibrant to you as we all divest from the tricksters who want us to think in the I-it vibration. May it be so. Amen. And now, right where you are, we'll join our voices in hymn number 196, Singer of Life.
Singer of life, all our songs, with petals do you write. Singer of life, you color the earth, dazzling the eye with birds red and bright. Joy is for us, the flowers are spread, singing is our delight. Mortal are we with all living things, with eagles in the sky. Even our gold and jade will not last, singing alone I know cannot die. Here in this house of springtime bestow songs that like birds can fly.
Every month, we share the plate with a community organization. March's Share the Plate goes to the Outer Banks Wildlife Shelter, or OWLS. They provide medical care, food, and shelter for rehabilitating animals. Please give as generously as you can to support this organization. Please join in blessing this offering with hymn number 402, From You I Receive. Now please join me in reading our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now, en español, extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad, o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez. And now, please rise in body or in spirit for hymn number 1045, There is a Balm in Gilead.
my soul again. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. If you cannot preach like Peter, if you cannot pray like Paul, you can tell the love of Jesus and say he died for all. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul.
My dearest vows, it is UCF tradition that we join hands around the edges of the sanctuary, making something close to a circle. If you prefer to stay in the middle and be surrounded by our love and presence, please do so. All right, we got a little opener over here, making a little space. We have everybody connected. George is in the middle, getting surrounded by all this love. He's going to have a great week. Friends, go with faith, not the kind that is called to move mountains, but the quieter sort that calls us to take the first step, even when the whole staircase sits beyond your view. As we stride to the unseen, may we notice that the way unfolds only as we risk traveling it. And may we remember and trust that none of these steps are ones we take alone. Amen. And now we have coffee and treats next door. Thank you.
So where are you hiding the handheld mic?
I guess